What's up guys, it's Robin here, and today I'm going to be going over the patch 11.5 rundown. This is a pretty small patch, so it'll be a pretty short video, but I just want to go over the changes that they're making and my thoughts about it. The meta's in a pretty good spot right now, but there's some things that's a little bit too oppressive, and hopefully they change it. So system changes, I'm not going to go over this because I don't think this really matters too much, but basically the debuffs of the same time won't stack together. And then when there's multiple debuffs of the same type, the stronger one will take priority, which is pretty good. I thought it already did, but chosen odds. Level 7 chosen odds, the 4 cost chances is being lowered from 5% to 2%, and that extra 3% is being added to the 3 costs. This is a really good change because I know we've all been in a game where we played a game really well, we play strongest board, and we're allowed to go fast 8, whereas someone who played probably way worse than you rolls at 7, Donkey rolls at 7, gets the perfect 4 cost chosen, and he top 4s and you bot 4, and it's like extremely frustrating. So I like this change a lot. I think I'm all for comeback potentials, but this is just like insanely like high variance. You just get lucky and you can just top 4. So 5% to 2% is really good. So I really like this change. Traits, Keeper Shield. The Keeper Shield, 6 Keeper is being nerfed from 275 to 250. This change is pretty good because the 6 Keeper Cannon comp was becoming more and more popular, and people were catching on that 6 Keeper was actually really broken. The shield can never, like, it takes forever to break. So a 25 damage nerf is pretty good. I think it'll still be strong, but it just won't be as oppressive. Vanguard. So 8 Vanguard is being lowered armor from 1000 to 800, and then the Vanguard magic resist is being lowered from all levels. I think this is mainly due to the Nico comp being really strong, especially when you get Vanguard spat on Nico. But overall I like this change. I feel like the Vanguard units were getting too much MR early game that it was like it's way better than Brawlers. So this change is pretty good. I still think Nico will be really strong, and you probably have to tech in some Mystic if you want to instead of just stacking Vanguards, if you want to like counter magic damage. So tier 1 champions. Diana is getting buffed. Diana's shield amount is getting buffed. I like this change as well. For my 11.4 rundown, I said that Diana was way too gutted and she's gonna be unplayable, and it was pretty true. But now a slight buff to her shield might make her playable again. So this is a good change. Nasus Wither damage. Nasus 3 is getting buffed. This change is, I don't know about this change. Like I don't hate it, but I don't think it matters too much because I mean, this just makes Nasus 3 reroll more viable again, but I still don't know how viable it is. But actually this change is pretty good because it makes Nasus 3 more viable because no one was playing Nasus 3, and I feel like reroll comps should be in the meta somehow. Nidalee mana is getting nerfed from 70 to 60. This Nidalee I feel like was already pretty strong. So this might make her even stronger, but comparing to Tristana, like Tristana's way better, so maybe you know, this change is pretty good as well. Makes Nidalee more playable. But I already thought she was pretty strong, so we'll see. Yasuo striking damage is getting buffed from all levels. I like this change. For my 11.4 rundown, I also said that Yasuo's getting gutted too much along with the 2 duelists. So they're rebuffing Yasuo, which is good, which makes him more of a reliable like early game carry. You might be able to play Yasuo reroll still, so when you hit Yasuo chosen, so it's pretty good. Tier 2, Janna shield is getting so Janna 2 and Janna 3 is getting a small shield nerf. Janna was pretty strong, but I don't know if she was OP, so I don't know if this change was needed, but I don't think it will affect things too much. Lulu is getting a buff, lower starting mana and lower overall mana. I feel like the Elderwood comp wasn't being played as much, but I don't know if the problem was because of Lulu. But overall, Lulu wasn't really being played too much, so we'll see how this changes. I don't really know about this yet. I don't know if it'll make her super OP or not, but she'll probably be pretty strong. So tier 3, Akali 1 and 2 and 3 are all getting buffed. I don't know if Akali 1 needed a buff. Akali 1 was already really strong and a really good early game unit to kill units. Maybe Akali 2 and Akali 3 needs a little nerf, but I feel like the reason why Akali isn't really in meta is not because of how weak she is, but it's because of the heavy CC meta like Sedge Aatrox. She can't really do anything. She just gets pulled by Aatrox or gets stunned by Sejuani and she just dies. So I think this will make Akali actually super strong as a 1-star. Sivir 3 is getting nerfed. I like this change. Sivir 3 was a little bit too oppressive. If you have like perfect item Sivir 3, it's like you don't really need any other units. You just kill everything on the board. So this little slight little nerf for Sivir 3 is pretty good. Veigar is getting buffed from 1, 2, and 3. I think this is pretty good. Veigar is a little bit underused. So this buff is pretty good. Along with the Lulu buff, I'm pretty sure the Elderwood comp will be even stronger now, which is pretty good because it was a little bit weaker than every other comp. So I'm excited for these changes. Tier 4. Aurelion Soul with Mage Trait activated now casts the second cast 0.1 seconds later. I think this is pretty good because Aurelion Soul is actually so strong. And it's like, there's barely any counterplay to Aurelion Soul because even if you don't corner them, like his beam kind of shoots like, it's a pretty big area. So it's actually really oppressive. But I feel like Aurelion Soul wasn't even being played that much though, in this meta because of all the Slayers and Kayle. But we'll see. I think with the Lulu and Veigar buff, they probably have to nerf Aurelion Soul a little bit. So Morgana removed the magic resist shred from her tooltip. I think originally they wanted Morgana to do MR shred, but she ended up not doing it, and then they realized that she was already really strong, so they don't really need this MR shred, so they just removed it from the tooltip, which is pretty good. But basically nothing's changing about Morgana. It's just the tooltip that's changing. So Sejuani Firecracker stun duration. So Sejuani 1, 2 is getting nerfed, but 3 is getting buffed. This is pretty good. Sejuani is super oppressive right now. She goes in literally every comp. Her stun is way too long for and she's almost guaranteed to cast even without Vanguard buff. So this nerf is pretty good, and this 3 it doesn't really matter. Tier 5 units. So Samira now deals base physical damage in addition to a percentage of her attack damage. And then so Samira's Inferno trigger now deals base physical damage in addition to a percentage of her attack damage. Samira Inferno trigger damage 15, 25, 40, and her trigger attack damage percent scaling is 50, 60, changing from 50, 60, 80 to 30, 40, 60. So I think with this comment, I don't really know what this means, but I think someone can do the math. But basically, Samira is like really OP with Deathblade, but without Deathblade, she's not that good, and I think they want to change that to make her more flexible with items. So this is pretty good. I think it's an overall buff to Samira, to be honest, because she can use other items. Like she can actually be a unit without Deathblade. Yone Unforgotten Mana Cost is 20 to 10. This is another Yone buff. This is pretty good because I feel like Yone from set 4 strength, it should be like that strong too, because there's like very little reason to go fast 9 and play Yone carry now, but now there's a chance to play Yone. Now there's a now you can probably go fast 9 more, and Yone became even stronger. So it's pretty good. Deathblade items. Deathblade starting stack is being nerfed from 4 to 3, so this is a Deathblade nerf. I don't know what I feel about this. I feel like Deathblade was whatever. It also uses 2 very valuable items, 2 swords. But I don't think this should matter too much. I mean, it does matter a lot early game, so I think just lowering the early game a little bit. Static shift damage being buffed from 60 to 65. This is pretty good because static shift, even though I think it's in a way better spot than last patch or 2 patches ago, it was still a little bit underbuilt and the damage is really weak. So I think this change is pretty good. Trap Claw's missile now travels significantly faster. You heard it here, folks. You heard it here second, folks. Trap Claw now counters Aurelion Soul. So, oh, okay. So this means that whoever gets procced by Trap Claw, they get procced way faster. So I think the problem was when Aurelion Soul, when they hit the Trap Claw, they didn't get stunned fast enough and they can shoot again twice. So it didn't really do anything. But now it counters Aurelion Soul, which is really good. So there's some counterplay to ASOL now. UX improvements. So they disabled the sell hockey in round 1. So you can't sell your unit on accident on round 1. No, this is really good because I've done this plenty of times before. I just lost the game right away. So this is a good change. Excluded target dummy from army interfaces both in-game and at the end of game screen. This is good because this is just like, it just fills up one slot and it's kind of ugly. So The shop is now properly disabled during carousel rounds, preventing accidental buys when your little legend is hopping in and out of portals. So I think this was already changed last patch, no? Like you couldn't buy units anymore during carousel rounds. But I feel like this should be reverted because I feel like sometimes you don't decide what to buy in the shop until you see what item or monster or champion you get from the carousel. So I actually don't like this change. I feel like there's other ways to help accidental buys, to fix accidental buys, but we'll see. So some bug fixes. I'm not gonna go too much into it. I'll just read it over. So Jarvan now casts a spell. He could now correctly cast a spell when recasting on the same target with Mage Cap. When multiple copies of Kalista are on board, they will no longer fail to execute a target if the Kalista that landed the first spear dies. Fix the bug where Galio will sometimes not land on the largest cluster. This is super huge because sometimes it just landed on like one unit and you're like, what? Fix the bug where Tryndamere spinning slash damage could benefit from the basic attack damage bonus. This is really good. I think Tryndamere is so strong, and I'm glad that there was like a bug that made him stronger. So now it's fixed. Fix the bug where Runaan's Hurricane was consuming a stack of Tryndamere spinning slash attack damage bonus to deal bonus damage. Yeah, this is okay. So apparently Tryndamere is super bugged. That's why he's like way stronger than he's supposed to be. Fix the bug when a player surrendered with a champion holding a trait item, the champion could be reacquired from the shop. This is a huge bug. During the qualifiers, Bertosaurus finished an Aatrox 2, and his Aatrox 2 went from no items to 3 items because he bought the Aatrox from someone who died. And even though it probably didn't change the outcome of the game. I'm glad this fucks is fixed before Worlds. Chunk will now once again belly bop OP. We are aware of a bug reported as error 11141 with the player Bertosaurus and are working on a balance change for the competitive scene. I feel like this one is this bug, but maybe it's another bug, but we'll see. But that's it. That's my patch 11.5 rundown. I'm very, very excited for this patch. Basically, every comp is staying the same. Elderwood is getting a little bit stronger. Tryndamere is getting a little bit weaker. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time.